Hey guys, welcome back. It's Mike. So this evening's project, I'm trying to get these 4 rims off my Case 1840 sandblasted. A few weeks ago, I had my 2 younger kids out, and they learned how hard it was to get skid steer rims off, or tires off, I should say. I didn't record any of it because it's kind of a family moment, and I can't record everything, so you'll get to see this part of it. But let me give you a close-up of these rims. So I found this kind of interesting. This machine's an 89 or 90, but I found these parts tags, actual case parts tags, for construction machinery business down in Joplin, Missouri. So I know for a fact these are case rims, US, but I'm pretty positive they were replaced at some point in the machine's life just because of those parts tags. But they're not in too bad a shape. We got a little bit of damage on the beads. There's one of them in here. That's fairly significant, but nothing I can't fix with the torch. And I'm not seeing it right now. It's probably down on the bottom somewhere here. Yeah, here. This is the worst damage. Not even in the bead, it's just the outer lip. So, not real worried about that. I am a little worried about, it's got some bead sealer on. It's like rubberized sealant that anything that's the sand can bounce off to, the sand can bounce off of. Doesn't work real well for removing that material, but hopefully I don't need to do any kind of manual wire wheeling or anything, because I don't really enjoy that. But let me show you what I'm going to use here. Okay, this is my pressure pot sandblaster, and I actually made this out of an old compressor air tank. It's probably about a year or so ago. Bought some of the commercial components, this hose, the nozzle, it's a carbide nozzle, there's a little vibrating nozzle, or sorry, vibrating motor on the back here. Keeps things flowing. And a water separator, filter doohickey. Put this little port so you can actually get access into it and clean it out. Sometimes I filter the sand depending on what sand I'm using. I found this utility all-purpose sand from Menards to be pretty fine without any large rocks in it. So I really don't need to run it through the filter. If I use like the cheaper Mason sand down there, I do. It's a little bit lighter color, but to save $5, it's almost not worth my time. I cut the end of the compressor tank off, flipped it upside down, welded it in here. There's a little valve that you pull up to seal it off. So right now I need to put one more bag in there and then we'll get to work. You can see this stuff's a lot finer. The amount of time it takes to sift that other stuff just is not worth it. And this goes in pretty quick. Don't recommend breathing that dust. Probably got silica in it. Alright, got the respirator on. That silicosis stuff I really don't one to mess around with. I talked for months, about a decade ago now, because I was using a sandblaster with actual sand in it and not wearing a mask. I was young, less life experience, thought I was invincible. So I'm not too cool to wear a respirator. It's a beautiful evening. Storms on the horizon, but I think they're going to hold off for a while, but not too hot. Even in June. I don't reclaim any of the sand. I try to move around the yard. I did reclaim it at one point and just decided it's not really worth it. Too much hassle and you have to screen it all and it's not worth my time. Okay, to pressurize this, you gotta pull this up. There's a rubber seal on the underside of here and open the valve. It leaks a little bit until pressure builds up underneath it. It is homemade, so it's not perfect. Let's see. Oh, just come on. It's really best to put something underneath whatever you're sandblasting. Otherwise you just throw dirt and grass all up. This is the rear door of that in my case. It's kind of twisted. I don't know if I'm going to fix it yet, but it needs to be cleaned anyway. So getting some sand all over it and paint off is not going to hurt anything. So I think I'm going to put this down for a base. This is welded to it because I was trying to twist it back. I had one end welded to the my steel table over there. Flip this. Angle's working with me, not against me. There we go. I'm gonna start off with this worst rim here. Got concrete splatter kind of on it. I don't know how the sand's gonna do with that. But unfortunately I'm gonna take my mic off because electronics and sand don't really mix. But you should still be able to see and kind of hear what I'm doing. I always wear this full face mask when I'm doing this. I got a couple rims finished up. This is the first one. I took it down further than I probably really needed to. And I'm pretty sure this is powder coat. It doesn't want to come off very well. And then I decided, instead of taking it all the way down to bare, that I would just take off any rust. And then I'm blending the area with an orbital sander. And I've fixed a small little ding on this one. It was very small, but I figured I might well take the opportunity to fix any problems now while I have them off. But this one has a huge old bend in it, and I definitely don't want to leave that, and I also don't want to distort the rim any. So I'm going to have to get this hot kind of right in this area so I don't bend the bead area when I try to bend it back. So I think the rosebud will still be the best choice, but let's get going. Come on, spark. More came mostly out of it. Nope, not hot enough yet. While I'm at it, there's a little spot right here. I'm gonna fix up just a bit. Yep. Considering what it looked like before, I think it looks pretty good. Didn't deform the bead area at all. So I think just those little things like that make a big difference in the restoration. I'm going to blend this with the orbital, and I still got 2 more rims to sandblast. Okay, so all the high spots where it transitioned from the powder coat to bare metal, I've smoothed out with the orbital sander. And one of the most important, well, most annoying, I should say, parts about tire and wheel is if it leaks on the bead. It's not an easy fix. Usually you're putting on like bead sealer, and then time goes on, the bead moves around and it leaks again. So to try to prevent that, I'm gonna make sure I got a good paint, a coat of paint on both the beads all the way around. I got some Sherwin-Williams metal primer here. I'm gonna prime it first. I'm gonna prime the entire thing. It's actually the entire rim needs to be coated so I don't get any rusting on the inside. But I'm not gonna make you watch all this. I'll probably just fast forward it real quick. But anyway, I need to get this all painted up. Well guys, it's been about a week. As you can see, I got a top coat on the inside of the rims only, and I did that on purpose because I want a good rust-proof area that I don't have to worry about rust on the bead. So this is the actual case OEM paint. It's really hard stuff. And I also wanted to, I didn't want to finish this part because I knew I'd be scraping it up real bad trying to get the tires off. So got all 4 rims ready to go. I have these tires I bought a few months ago. They are Camso SKS 753 and they're size 10 by 16.5 rim. This is the factory size for the Case 1840. And heard really good things about these. These are not cheap. I think these are about $1,500 for the set, if I remember right. And I wanted something a little different than the standard bar style you see on every skid steer nowadays. So kind of excited about these, and we need to get some new valve stems put in these, and we'll get to putting them on. Okay, I picked up 4 new valve stems. These are the ones that go through, and there's a nut on the top that expands the rubber tight. I think the hole size is 5/8. I don't want to take any chances with the old ones. They didn't look too bad, but these are only, I don't know, $20 for 5 of them, I think. I did work at a tire shop when I was a teenager, but it's been a long time. I haven't put on a set of agricultural style tires for quite a long time, so this is probably going to be a little bit of a struggle for me, but I still know the basics about the drop center of the rim, so you're going to want to put it over this side. That way when you get the top bead on, you can drop the back side down in the drop center and stretch the other side on. So we definitely want to go on like that. These are, I think, somewhat directional, I believe, but for the first one, we're not going to worry about that. Maybe they're not directional. I don't see any arrow on the side, but anyway, for the first one, we'll see how this goes. That's not so bad. But this is the much harder part, because you got to get this bead into the drop center to stretch the other side around. The best way I know to keep it from kind of spinning around on you is to put a vice grip on the lip here, and then work it around with some tire tools. And this is where it's like you know you're gonna mar up your brand new paint job, so there's really no point. Yeah, that's, see, they're so stiff you can't even, hardly even get them to flex down. Yep. That was a lot. Yep, I look like a rookie at this. Make a little progress here. That has to go down. They will not go on if that doesn't go down. Okay. Something. There's a slip crack in your face. Alright. Might be able to take this guy out, maybe. Well, I'm getting it. It's just not pretty. Notice how the back of this is down under the bead area. Has to do that to stretch the wheel over, tire over. Come on. And it's so tight, I can't get the tool in there. Around. It's so close to going on. Get something a little thinner to get up under there. That's kind of narrow to pry with. I'm going to rip the bead. Need to get that down more. It's like right there. I can't believe it. I'm having so much trouble at the very end. There we go. These both elements. Spread the load out. It's so close. There. Whew. Seat the bead. I was expecting a loud pop, but I think it just kind of slid into place. Better check the pressure. All right, we'll split it in the middle, go 45 and adjust it from there. There we go. One done. Now I have 3 more to do. I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse so you don't have to go through as much pain as I am here. Now I'm going to put my final top coat on. I'll do 2 full coats with about 2 hours in between the coat. This paint you can coat within 3 hours or after 48 hours. I'm using Case New Holland's Power Tan. I'll also do a time lapse on this so you don't have to watch the whole thing. Last night I put on the second top coat of the Power Tan, and it was about 51 hours after the first coat. The manual says I have to wait 48 hours, but even doing so, now I've created myself some more work. Let me show you. It wrinkled and kind of lifted the first coat. I know what causes that. The first coat wasn't cured enough. The aggravating part is I did technically wait the required minimum amount of time, but this paint is typically sprayed, and me brushing it probably put it on too thick, and that's what caused it not to cure out properly. So I didn't do it everywhere. It did it worse kind of in the areas where paint would collect, like on this rim and down in here. But I'm going to let this sit about a week, and then I'll come back and sand this out and primer it again if I need to. If I don't, I'll just go back over it with some more coats of yellow here. But I guess lesson learned is even though you follow the directions, it may not be adequate if you're putting the paint on too thick. So, but before I let you go, I got one thing to show you yet. What do you think? Looks pretty aggressive. Looks awesome. Had to kind of throw them up there, even with the paint defects, just to get an idea of what it's going to look like. I think it looks really sweet. So those should be awesome tires and snow, mud, about everything this thing's going to encounter. So really happy about them. That's going to be a wrap. I'm happy to get this task off the list for this machine. This rebuild is coming right along nicely, and it's starting to come together now that I got some new rubber on the machine. I'll get that little bit of paint defects fixed off camera, and we'll move on to hopefully getting this thing filled with hydraulic fluid and using that filter cart I built here in the next couple of weeks. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you next time. Thanks.